The first Gigafactory for the production of lithium-ion energy storage units has been built in Russia, an enterprise that opens completely new prospects for the country. What kind of products will be manufactured here, and how do they plan to dispose of them? Why was the first plant in the Kaliningrad region? And where is the second being built? We'll talk about this, as well as about the new hero of the week, after a brief summary of positive news. The new diesel-electric submarine Velikie Luki, Project 677, has joined the Navy. A tugboat of Project TSK 395M was launched at the Cherpovets shipbuilding plant. Construction of a series of dredgers has begun at the Onega shipbuilding and ship repair plant. The first full-cycle production of products made from high-density Russian graphite has been launched in the Chelyabinsk region. In the Moscow region, a relay protection plant and a large construction structures production facility have been opened. In Ulyanovsk, an electrical products line and a new packaging materials line have been launched. In the Kaluga region, there's the production of board products. In the Krasnodar region, the production of medical products. In the Kurgan region, waterproofing production. In Chuvashia, a waste processing complex. In Kaliningrad, food production. And in the Penza region, a poultry farming unit. On Monday, in the city of Neman, Kaliningrad region, Rosatom launched the pilot industrial operation of the country's first Gigafactory for lithium-ion energy storage systems. Its annual capacity will be 4 gigawatt hours, which is why the facility is called a Gigafactory. It is important to note that this is not just an assembly site, but a full-cycle enterprise, from primary chemistry and battery cells to the creation of final modules and complete batteries. Only a few countries today have such sovereign technology. The factory is located on a site of over 23 hectares. The production lines stretch for 2.5 kilometers, and the output is 1 battery cell per second. The project, worth 75 billion rubles, became a real challenge for Russian industry, since construction of the factory began in 2022, and Western countries did everything they could to try to stop the construction. But the challenge of competition proved even more serious. Today, a significant part of the market belongs to Chinese manufacturers, who, thanks to their scale, are able to keep prices low and push out competitors. But thanks to technological solutions, Rosatom managed to achieve a production cost comparable to East Asian players. The total capacity of the plant will allow it to supply batteries for up to 50,000 electric vehicles per year, and almost all of the production has already been contracted for several years ahead. However, its uses are broader than they appear. They promise percussion instruments next, and soon diagnostic ones will also be used, which have already started to help save propulsion systems. Adding the Stunner's carbon dioxide to delicacy will give us an edge in WP31N5006, and you'll see it improve. And you are on. With the range of construction and quarry equipment, and even locomotives and increasingly popular electric vessels. Ironically, although the sanctions were aimed at disrupting the project, at the same time they cleared the Russian market of many foreign competitors and opened up a vast field for work. After all, storage batteries are needed not only for transportation. Another promising area is the use of batteries as part of hybrid mobile or stationary power plants. This is especially relevant for renewable energy sources, whose main drawback is their instability. Moreover, batteries can even be used at nuclear power plants to store energy during periods of low consumption and supply it during peak times, as well as to provide backup in case of technical or emergency shutdowns. That's why The energy storage market is growing rapidly all over the world, and that's why it was so important for Russia to launch its own production on its own soil. The consumption of batteries on the planet will continue to grow. In fact, a new electrification of the economy is already in full swing. And of course, this is already making it necessary to develop battery recycling as well. Although there are no large lithium-ion battery recycling plants in Russia yet, work is underway, and the first one should appear in the Nizhny Novgorod region quite soon. Rosatom has developed its own recycling technology for several types, suitable for industrial use. Battery chemical composition, gigafactories, specifically nickel, cobalt, and lithium, make recycling profitable, which will truly close the production cycle from raw material extraction and product manufacturing to recycling and reuse. This will take time, so gigafactories are currently using technology to extend product lifespans. The idea is that after its use in an electric vehicle, the battery is still quite functional, and sending it to a landfill or recycling it would be premature. Therefore, it was decided to use them in stationary facilities such as bus shelters, street lights, traffic lights, charging stations for special equipment, and other urban infrastructure objects, without connecting to the main grid, which means no extra wires. This way, batteries that have been retired will still serve people for a while before finally being sent for recycling. Now let's address the popular question of why the Kaliningrad region was chosen as the location for the Gigafactory. This year, NATO forces once again conducted exercises practicing the blockade of the Kaliningrad region and striking its key facilities. Because of this, I often hear the question, why did Russia build such an important factory in a rather vulnerable region surrounded by unfriendly countries? The answer has already been repeatedly stated by Russia's top officials. Any attempt to attack or isolate the Kaliningrad region would mean the start of a full-scale war, in which Russia would be ready to use all the means of defense at its disposal. Therefore, the threat from NATO cannot be used as an argument against building new industries in any Russian region. The Kaliningrad region was not chosen by accident. First of all, that's where the Avtotor plant is located, one of the main consumers of the Gigafactory's products. Secondly, in Neman, there was already a convenient site for the factory, right next to the place where they once planned to build the Baltic nuclear power plant in better times. And maybe they'll still build it. Recently, the management of Rosatom stated that the corporation expects to return to this issue in the future. Thirdly, the Kaliningrad region also needs military high-tech enterprises. The new factory creates 1,200 jobs and another 300 in related fields, and the factory will provide tax revenues to the local budget. Based at the local Baltic Federal University, training for young specialists has been launched, as well as new housing built for workers, and the construction of social infrastructure is underway. But at the same time, a second similar gigafactory is already being built in the Moscow region. It will be launched in September 2026, and almost 70% of its production has already been contracted. Thus, it can be stated that no efforts by Western countries were able to disrupt the creation of the first sovereign Gigafactory in Russia. And now the production model being developed there will be scaled to other regions. This is also important because such factories create stable and predictable demand for metals and chemical elements within the country. This means, on the one hand, they stimulate the development of new deposits, and on the other hand, the processing of extracted resources within the country instead of exporting them in raw form. That's why the first Gigafactory will mark the beginning of a qualitative transformation of our entire industry, and we congratulate the people of Russia and its well-wishers on this.